I'm standing here beside a Grumman Wildcat Mark V, built in America, and you might well be wondering how it got here. Well, on Christmas Eve 1944, this aircraft, along with another, took off from RAF Long Kesh on a tactical reconnaissance. He was only airborne a few minutes when the engine exploded and caught fire, and the young pilot, Peter Lough, was just 20 years old at the time. He looked at the options. If he landed on a field, it was full of fuel, and the chances are it would turn over and he would be burnt alive. His next option then was to climb and bail out. As he increased the throttle, the flames got longer and more intense in the cockpit. So his final option, he looked out the window, seen a lake, and decided, I'm on fire, there's the water. So he ditched the aircraft into Portmore Lough. Peter scrambled out, scrambled along the fuselage and set on the fin, and he was then sort of rescued very shortly after that. Being Christmas Eve, Peter was actually flying in his #1 uniform. He had his flying suit over the top of it because he was going back to Long Kesh for Christmas dinner. He had some burns to his forearms. When he was rescued, he was taken to the hospital back at Long Kesh at the base, and then still had Christmas dinner that night. In the early 1980s, some of the society decided that we should actually try and start a museum. So we looked around at an aircraft that wouldn't cost us anything, and someone said there's a World War II aircraft in Portmore Lough. And then on April 30th of April 1984, with the help of the Army Air Corps, we lifted it out using a Lynx helicopter. So we lifted it out initially to John Kane's field. So that made a beautiful history circle. It was John and Seamus who had rescued the pilot 40 years previous. Now the aircraft was actually sitting on their farm.
I can remember just as much as it happened today. There was another young chap and I were playing in the hay shed in the yard here, and we heard a sound of a plane coming on the shore. We ran to the edge of the shed and we looked out, and there was small smoke coming from the engine. The other plane was flying alongside her, and then eventually when they came to the lough, the pilot ditched the plane in the lough. We ran over here to the house. It was Christmas Eve, and I remember my sister putting up holly in the house. I started to shout that this plane had fallen in the lake. Two brothers were here, and they went across the route, and they watched the pilot coming out of the plane and walking to the tail of her. So they got into the car and went around to the old graveyard, and they got the portable engine and they got into the boat and went out and brought him in. He said to my brothers, look at the state I'm in, and I'm going to a party tonight. It was only when the plane was lifted out of the lake and there was a search went out to find the pilot. And when they found Peter, him and I become very great then, for I was the one who was called to make the report that he had fallen in the lake. He was very well pleased with that.